Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream here on the Streamers official YouTube channel. My name is Gina, and the spiritual name is Lakshmi, and I am going to talk about the 4 different ways your mindset is influenced on a regular basis. So on the Instagram Live that I did just a few days ago, I set you up on the 4 steps for manifesting, and that included clearing out what it is that's stopping you from manifesting, and then creating the creative process, goal setting, dreaming up what it is you want to create, and then the sustaining. How do you sustain your practice in order to see results? And then the 4th is your empowerment from Dr. Pillai. How all of the teachings are encapsulated into this 4 steps. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So if you could just, when you join, just say hello and your prayer for the day, like your prayer for humanity at this very moment. A lot of people are going through a lot of things, so welcome. So, which is why also this is really important. This topic is really important because we are in a crossroads in humanity, right? And a lot is going on, and how we get to contribute back to ourselves and the environment is so important, because it doesn't just help us, it helps the world. When we change our energy, we change the collective energy of the consciousness of the planet, and then we can all continue to evolve from there. So, but we're all influenced with certain things, certain aspects of our constructs of our reality, what we created as reality, have influenced our thoughts, our mindset, and we may not even know it. So I'm going to give you those 4 steps, or those four mindset influencers. So what is your mindset? Your mindset is what drives you to creating the life that you have. It determines what you allow to have in your life, what you don't allow to have in your life, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about others, your belief system. It essentially boils down to your thoughts. Your mindset drives how and what you think, because your thoughts create your world. Your thoughts create your world. So now if we go a step back before that, what creates our thoughts? If our mindset is dictating what it is we have and who we are in the world, and our thoughts make up our mindset, where do our thoughts come from? So our thoughts come from about 4 different places, and there's going to be sub thoughts in there as well. But for now, the thoughts come from 4 different places. That's what we're going to talk about. The first one is your astrology. So you're born into the world, and at the time you have an imprint that occurs on your soul at a soul level. And this imprint from where the planets are in time and space, where you are on the earth plane, there becomes an imprint. Now that becomes the blueprint of how your life may play out from an astrological level, which planets are influencing you to do certain things, to have certain successes, to have certain failures. And all of this comes to being because we had a contract perhaps with ourselves or others in lifetimes that says, yeah, I need to learn this. My soul needs to learn certain things in order to evolve. So for my soul to learn certain things in order to evolve, I might have to have certain experiences. And the astrology is a way for us to say, oh, these are the experiences I decided to have, or am going to have, or this is what I can actually predict might happen to me based on this blueprint, this astrological blueprint that I get at birth. So the good news is that in Vedic astrology and in Dr. Pillai's teachings, everything can be changed. Not everything, but a lot can be changed. Your destiny can be updated by remedies, by you taking control, by you having will to make certain changes. And so in astrology, you can have remedies done for you. So what is the solution to the problem, if you want to say, of astrology being a way that influences your mindset? You can have a reading done. I suggest having a reading done by a Vedic astrologer, and then hopefully that astrologer is good and they can give you remedies of how you can do it. Stuff you can do at home, stuff you can engage a priest or a facilitator to do on your behalf. Astroved.com is Dr. Pillai's company, so we recommend you go there. You go to the live astrology consultation section and you pick an astrologer. So that's one way your mindset's getting influenced. Now, it's not all bad. I said problem, but I shouldn't have probably said that, because your astrology can also be a huge opportunity. It can determine where you will have easily more success in life, and it'll determine how you may have more challenging areas of life. But either way, it's a blueprint that comes in. So it's not good or bad, but you can identify the opportunities and the challenges, the kind of the good and the bad of your planets and how they're influencing what you want in your life. Okay, astrology. Next is ancestors. Dr. Pillai talks a lot about soul genetics and how the ancestral lineage that we have had from, tens, even hundreds of generations are influencing us, not only genetically, but from a soul perspective. So what does that mean? We have genetics, physical DNA that come from the lineage. We also have epigenetics, which is how that can also influence our thought process and who we become. Then we have the soul level, which means the souls of our disembodied ancestral lineage who passed on. They're in a state of being that's maybe not fully into the light, not fully in the heavenly realms, and not in a body. They're somewhere in between. This happens to a lot of souls because the souls have to go through a journey once they pass over from the living worldly state to the other worlds. There's a journey they have to go through. So some of them get stuck. Some of them take a long time to take that journey. And in between that place where they're freed in the heavenly realms or they're have a body, they are could be agitated. They could be not quite sure what happened. If they died tragically, they could have concerns. They could have certain desires that are not being fulfilled because they no longer have a body. So we look at our lives. Dr. Pillai talks about, we're driven by money, food, and sex, right? A lot of people are driven by money, food, and sex. We have attachments to the sense pleasures or experiences that we have on the earth plane. When you leave your body, you pass on, those desires don't go away. Those desires may linger with you in the in-between worlds. They'll also may come with you to the next lifetime. So there's this in-between state. And so when your ancestors are in this in-between state, guess what? They still have those desires. They still want food. They still have attachment to money or belongings. They have maybe attachment to people, sex, gambling, addictions. These are strong feelings that go with the soul when they leave the body. And so the soul doesn't know what to do. It's like you're not so sure how to fulfill this desire, so you're just like in an agitated state. And guess what? They only know to one of the ways they know is to go to their lineage and start almost like whispering in their ears, or kind of like hanging around and emanating this energy that we then feel. So you may not hear something, but you just may feel a sense of agitation. You may have certain thoughts that aren't yours. And how do you know? You don't really know until you do some remedies that help those souls move on. And then maybe those feelings that you've had, those emotions, those thoughts you had may start moving out. I have an example where my father passed on when I was young. I was 13 years old or 14. And it was a tragic, untimely death. And I just always had this sense that he was around and around, and I never knew it differently until I met Dr. Pillai, until I started doing these rituals, and then all of a sudden it started to lift, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I one day just spoke to him. I was like, you have to go. You have to go. Don't worry. We're still gonna have a relationship. Don't worry. We're still gonna be connected. I love you. You love me. It's still, but you need to go. You need to go. I literally was talking to the air, and I was like, you need to go. And it was not long after that he went, and our relationship is better than ever because there's just this ease around it versus this feeling like he was just sticking around, and it was not a comfortable feeling for me. And really, he didn't mean it. It was just that his soul didn't know what else to do. He was attached to his children. He, died suddenly. So his soul was like still not sure what to do about that. Another example is a friend of mine said his grandfather passed on and recently, and he started drinking gin and tonics. It wasn't his drink of choice. He just started, all of a sudden, he wasn't an alcoholic, but he just, he started like all of a sudden drinking gin and tonics. And then he did this, and it was time for this ancestor offering, or this tarpanam, to be done in India for his grandfather. It got performed, and then all of a sudden he stopped having the desire to have gin and tonics. It then occurred to him gin and tonic was his grandfather's favorite drink. It's like, oh my gosh. And then he was able to, so then that thought left once we call it the Maha Tarpanam, or the big Tarpanam, the big offering is performed. And that gets done by a priest, the professionals. You definitely want to leave that to professionals to have be done on your behalf. There are so many souls like that. And I feel it's our duty to help them. If you know you have a soul in your lineage who is sticking around, maybe you feel them, maybe they died tragically, you'll, if you can, want to have this performed. And I can put the links in later, but we'll put it in the description of this video of how you help them to pass on. We have really amazing beings, priests in India who help make this happen. And I've had it done several times for everyone who passes on in my family. So, okay, so that's ancestors. What you can do at home is an ancestor offering. I won't get into that today. There's many videos on it, but basically there's a little concoction you make, and make an offer to them every day and let them move into the light. I'll do another video about the details of that. So we've done astrology, ancestors. Now we're going to talk about past lives. Past lives influence you by bringing thoughts, desires, experiences that are unfulfilled from the past life into the current life. Just like we said, our ancestors, that's happening to them, it's happening to us. So if you come into this life and you have a strong desire for, I watched this, what's her name, Simone Biles documentary or biography. And it talks about how like she was has such a passion for this sport at such a young age. That must have been a past life. We aren't just always born in with this supercharged desire for something. Typically it came from somewhere. Another example is Dr. Pillai talks about how Bill Gates for several lifetimes focused on wanting to become the richest man in the world, continually did rituals and remedies in order to achieve it. So we take with us a desire and we go from lifetime to lifetime until that desire is fulfilled or released. Maybe something else happens where we don't need to actually experience it, but we somehow get released of that desire to have it happen. Another example is, have you ever met somebody where you feel like you know them? It's like an immediate connection. That is most likely a past life connection. And desire, or even an unfulfilled, like a desire for that person, maybe it's romantic, or an unfulfilled relationship, meaning something happened, an exchange happened that didn't get completed. Losing money or having to give somebody money isn't, Dr. Ply says sometimes, like if you gave someone money and they never gave it back to you, you're like, well, maybe you owed them in a past life. Like, so if we look at life from a higher level, not just like we're in it and all this stuff is happening to us and we're victims or whatever. If you look at it from an expanded view and you're like, oh, that's perhaps a multi-lifetime karma. That's perhaps an ancestor that's influencing me. There's ways in which we can see, hopefully, if we tune in enough and become aware, how these influencers are creating our current mindset. So past life karma. Now we get into current life karma. And these are our 4. And inside current life karma, there's subcategories. So our current life karma is, okay, you're born into this world. We know you have an astrological blueprint once we're born. We know we have ancestor influences. We know we have past life. We're bringing all this baggage in with us just by being born as a tiny little baby, right? So all this is already going on at the soul level. Now you have everything that's going to happen to you in this life. So what parents you chose to be born into are now going to give you thought processes, right? Whatever they think now is going to be something you become or you think, because they're going to say it to your little formative brain from 0 to 18, right? There's going to be a lot you learn from your family structure. And if you're not in a family structure, maybe you're moving around, you have different influences that impact how you think and what you think. And that is going to stay with you because neurologically we take it in, and we have what's called a pruning part of our brain from, I think it's 2 to however long, in 20 something, I think, where we're constantly deciding, making decisions of what is, what isn't, what we believe, what we don't believe. And all of that then comes with us. So now you're 40 or 50, and now you have all these thoughts from the pruning that happened, from the thoughts that were given to us by our parents, by our friends, by our communities, by our culture. A variety of ways in which we are now living the thoughts of other people. So that's one thing. The thoughts you're pulling in from your parents. Your environment, meaning your community, so people in your life, how they've influenced your thoughts. And you know examples of that. Just think of like something your mom or dad has always said, or maybe friends or communities have always said, right? It starts sticking with us. Then we have our space karma. So inside of a current life, there's a couple categories. One is our parents or our community. Another is our culture. So beyond the parents and community, there's the culture that we're part of. And part of that culture is certain patterns that get passed on to the family, the friends, whatever community you're in that is aligned with that particular culture. Then we have location or space karma. And that is you're in a particular place and you're picking up the vibrations and the psychology and the thought forms of the people in it. Not only the people in it, but the actual energy on the earth of that location. So we get power spots or places that more of are draining. There's the energy of the earth has different vibrations in different locations. Dr. Ply talks about how the temples in India are power spots. I'm in Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta is a power spot. Egypt. There's a variety of places which have a certain amount of power that's been built, that is from the earth, on the earth plane, has different lines of energy, and then temples or structures have been built, or a mountain has appeared, something to signify that energy is there. So you can locate to places of energy that can then influence your thoughts. What kind of thoughts do you have when you're at the beach versus in the woods? Or what type of thoughts do you have when you're in New York City versus Southern California, right? There's a variety, there's the location of that place on the earth has energy, which contributes to how you think. So not just the earth, but the people in that location also contribute to how you feel and what you think when you're there. For example, what are the majority of people thinking in New York City? When I lived in New York City, there's so much hustle and bustle. There's like a constant influx of energy. And I noticed I don't typically get lonely, right? I like being alone. I've never had a problem with loneliness. And then all of a sudden, I was living in New York for a while, and then on Friday nights, I started getting really lonely. And I'm like, this is weird. Normally, I don't mind my Friday nights. And then I thought, oh, I'm tapping into all this loneliness of the people here. And I don't know if there was a different period of time or what was going on in the world at the time where I started sensing that, or maybe I just became more in tune with that energy around me. So then once I realized it, I'm like, oh, I got to break this up. And I did stuff to change my routine or do something different on a Friday night. So I wasn't tapping into that loneliness. I wasn't sitting in my apartment absorbing it. Went to yoga class or something to that. So you kind of break the influx of the energy and the thoughts coming at you. The quarantine, the COVID quarantine is a good example. How did your thoughts change once everyone started thinking thoughts of fear, of anxiety, of uncertainty? All of this affected us because there were millions, billions probably of people around the world who were thinking similar thoughts. And so guess what? Now those are what you're going to start thinking. If maybe you're not thinking them, maybe you get anxious from them, but it's there. It's a real energy. It's a psychic energy. It's through the waves of the earth plane that we're being influenced by those. Now, in the other respect, and this is something I preach all the time, and Dr. Pillai talks about too, is like, okay, what activator are you going to be in the world? And if there's enough of us, then we can make a difference in the, like, pushing the energy out as opposed to just feeling what's going on. Of course, we're going to continue to feel, but if we're continuing to push out the positive vibes, chanting Shreem Brzi, doing our spiritual practice, sharing that, and magnifying that with group energy, then we get to make a bigger difference of the energy on the planet. There just needs to be more of us in order to do that, right? There needs to be a critical mass in order to have the energy influence others versus us being influenced by the billions of people that are thinking thoughts of, fear and uncertainty. So that's all the influences. I know that was a big mouthful of information, and but that is what I want you to understand today, and how it's not always just our fault. It's not always just our brain. What you're thinking comes from somewhere. And when you know and you have the awareness of where it comes from, you can be empowered around what you do about it. So the solutions, let me talk a little bit more about the solution. So I gave you the solution to the astrology. You want to get an astrology reading, and you want to get remedies from the astrologer. Do them at home or have them done for you by priests. Astrovet and Pillai Center provide those services. Then you have the ancestors. There's an ancestor offering. There's other videos on how you do it. You can also talk to your ancestors, ask them to move into the light. But the Tarpanam, whether you get it done, I could suggest both. I do year-long Tarpanam services through Pillai Center. I get that done, and then I do it on my own. And I'm going to do a whole nother video on ancestors, and we're going to go into detail about that, so don't worry. Number 3 is past lives. How do you interrupt your past life thought patterns? Techniques from Dr. Pillai. He teaches how to break your karma, how to change, how to shift your thoughts. Being aware of your thoughts is part of it, and then doing a technique. I highly suggest, since we're on the Shreem Brzi channel, Brzi. Brzi is a sound that removes karma as well as creates. So it's a very unique mantra. One of the techniques that Dr. Pillai has given is to just chant Brzi. When a negative thought comes into the mind, just chant Brzi. And on the Wealth Workshop series, I give a technique of midbrain tapping, which is Dr. Pillai's technique, which is you take one of these fingers, either your middle or your pinky ring finger, and tap on your third eye when you're getting a negative thought. You can also put the sound Brzi into it. Brzi, 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 Brzi. And kind of Brzi it out. We call it one of the courses, which is cute. Brzi out the negative thought. Brzi, 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 Brzi. So that's a way to interrupt if you're having a past life thought. And you don't always know if it's a past life thought, but if you're having a negative thought or something that's disturbing you, that's a technique to use. In a current lifetime, thoughts that come from your parents, your surroundings, your family, your community, your culture, if you're noticing them, being aware and noticing them come up is really important, because then we get to acknowledge, oh, that's not my thought. That's not what I want to think right now. And we get to interrupt. We get to interrupt and disrupt this process that might be happening automatically. And then again, Brzi, 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 Brzi. Or Shreem Brzi. Anna just said, I chant Shreem Brzi every time a negative thought appears. Perfect. As soon as something negative, just Shreem Brzi, Shreem Brzi, Shreem Brzi it out of your thought process. You don't even need to do this. Just chant as soon as you notice it's negative. How do you notice it's negative? Sometimes you'll have a feeling in your body, like in your heart or your gut, or you'll have a physical sensation. You have to learn to track those things so that you can then do the technique to let them go. Space karma. Noticing the thoughts that you get when you're in different locations, okay? And then, if you're driving around different neighborhoods, how does it feel in one neighborhood versus another neighborhood? What thoughts do you get when you're in a congested area versus the woods? Like, just be aware. Or even congested areas like cities like LA versus Camden, right? Like, there's different energies. There are going to be different thoughts happening in different cities. So just be aware when you're there and what happens, and then Shreem Brzi or Brzi it out as much as you possibly can. So, so that's it. So those are the 4 influencers. Those are the solutions to those. The key here is awareness as well as doing do it yourself, the do it yourself techniques, as well as contracting it, knowing when to contract it out to a professional, which is I do both just to cover all bases. So here it is. I hope that this was really helpful for you to be able to understand it's not just you and it's not like your fault. Not that we're victims, but we get to understand where these thoughts are coming from, and then we get to do something about it. And doing something about it, super important, especially right now in the world. So much is going on. We want to be taking control of our thoughts, of our life, being more empowered, having the right thoughts, learning what the right thoughts are, and pushing ourselves forward. Now, if you aren't sure, if you just really aren't sure, becoming aware and then chanting Shri Brzi will help to refine your vibration and your energy so that you begin to become more aware. It gives you a better consciousness. It gives you a higher consciousness. So chanting Shri Brzi in and of itself is a remedy for all of this. It's a really important point. Shri Brzi in and of itself is a remedy for all of this. All right, so I'm going to go to chat and see if there's any questions. Elizabeth said, this is great info. Even noticing thoughts takes practice. 100%. Like everything I just said isn't just like, oh, got it. Not for me anyway. I have been practicing, with Dr. Pillai for 20 years. I'm still trying to monitor my thoughts. I'm still trying to upgrade, because hey, 20 years in the span of, I don't know, 20,000 lifetimes is not a lot of time. So we're constantly trying to offset things that have taken maybe 100 lifetimes, 10 lifetimes, whatever it is, that have formulated in us. So be easy, go easy on yourself. We've got a lot going on with all these influencers. We got a lot going on. You're just do the best you possibly can. Don't be hard on yourself, because then that becomes just something you're fighting against. And we don't want to fight against any more things. We want to be in alignment. We want to chant Shri Brzi. Shri Brzi will help to refine us, to help us on our path. Any questions or comments? There's a question, does Bill Gates know his own past lives? You'll have to ask Bill Gates. I've never heard him talk about it. Oh, look at this. So Kuwait, welcome. Detroit, Florida, Spain, Temecula, Calcutta. Thank you for joining. This is fantastic. Any questions? Along with the healthy one-year program, the wealthy one-year program, there seems to be so many other programs that are coming up, it becomes challenging to know which one to take. Okay, so it's not a one-year, the wealth program is not a one-year program. So let me talk about that since you asked about it. It's called the Wealth Activation Formula Program. It's 3 months. And let me actually, thank you for reminding me. I wanted to let you know that there's some changes happening. We're actually going to send an email today. And those changes are that we're moving the official start date was last week to June 21st. Dr. Pillai asked us to extend it for 2 weeks for 2 reasons. He wanted us to put more content into the course, so we needed time to do that. And he wanted more people to have the opportunity to join. So you're getting a more beefed up program. And we are starting it officially on the 21st of June. The people who have already joined, don't worry, they're getting extra. You are all getting extra 2 weeks in there, bonus. So if you join now, you're going to get that extra week and a half or week, whatever it is, to participate. We added remedies. We added fire labs, mantra writing, rain of gold, rituals, full moon fire lab offerings, 108 lotus flowers, Shri Brzi, 2 different temples, on 2 different temples, fire labs happening. What else? Another remedy package. We put a bunch of remedies in there. We also enhanced the power time practice from I think it was 15 rituals to 25 rituals. We're adding a bonus module on fear, how to conquer fear and anxiety because of what the world is going through right now. And this is something that was given in one of Dr. Pillai's mystery school teachings from past years that never been released to the public. We're putting into this course. So we haven't changed the price. It's still the same price. And we've just put in a ton more content. We're pushing it back so we have time to do all of this and to give you an even better experience. So it's 3 months. It's not 1 year. So the 1 year courses, the enrollment is over. Those were the mystery school teachings. Those are closed. So right now, the only live program that is available at Ply Center is the Wealth Activation Program. So if you are interested in this program, highly recommend you put yourself into it. Everything that I just talked about today is going to be part of the program, but more. We're going to talk more detail. We're going to give you additional ways to dissolve this type of influence in your life. We're going to give you support around it. Dr. Pillai just recorded the first teaching of it, which will be released in 2 weeks on the 21st, which is a deep cleansing of Brazil, a very, very powerful mind, body, spirit. He like calls fiercely on the divine to be cleansing us. Incredibly, incredibly powerful. He did it on the full moon, which was Anurata Day, which means full moon is a very big, powerful time for Sri Brazil. Anurata is the birth star of both Vishwamitra, the saint who gave it Brazil, and Lakshmi, on a Thursday, like Guru Day. So it was like the perfect combination of energy. And he's like, I'm gonna do it today. So amazing, amazing. So I think there should be a link there. There'll be a link in the video to join at the description. It's called Wealth Activation Program. You can also go to plycenter.com and there's a banner. You can click on that and join. We're updating the sales page like today. So actually not even yet, probably in a couple hours, the sales page will be fully updated with all the new stuff. I'm so excited because I love giving you more things. Like it makes me excited to give you like everything we possibly can. Of course, we need to charge something because we have staff and we have, bills to pay too. But we love to just push it out as much as we possibly can. So we'd love it if you can join us. And so that's it. So hopefully that clears up any confusion around what programs are available right now. No more one-year programs are available. Just this 3 months, which starts June 21st and ends on I think it's September 14th. So we're together for 3 months. What I also love about us being together for these 3 months is we're in a very big flux right now in the world, right? And we don't know what's going to happen. But if we have this container of one another, one of the things in this program is daily chanting calls, where we get together and we're meditating and chanting every day during a particular time that the Sri Brazil goddess herself said would be the most powerful time to connect. There's the Facebook groups. There's Dr. Pillai will be giving a live group initiation to the premier members. There's just ways in which we're going to have, I feel like this extra padding to have around us during a time where we need it, quite frankly. And then for those of you who can't join it, you probably have noticed Pillai Center has been going above and beyond, creating more free content than ever before. But if you can put yourself into the program, it'll be well worth it. In fact, there's a guarantee that they'll be well worth it. And within 14 days, if you don't feel satisfied, you can get a full refund. Elizabeth said actualization. Yeah, so Dr. Pillai changed the name from activation to actualization. We just haven't changed that in the public material yet. It's all shifting inside the course though. But yeah, he felt that, yeah, sure, you can activate, but you also have to actualize. And that's what the program is designed to do. Does it work when we keep playing the mantra music in audio? Yes, you should definitely be doing that. Everyone should be doing that, whether you're in the program or not in the program. Play the mantra 24/7. We also want to hear from you. Like, it's so inspiring. It was Babita who posted something on the Stream Brazil Instagram. She said that, she was concerned since March, not working because of COVID. And then 2 weeks ago started chanting Stream Brazil, and she's been feeling more uplifted. She got a contract. So her financial problems were being taken care of, and she just felt so much better. So please just post little things like that. Share every little thing because it inspires people. It inspires people who aren't sure. It inspires people who maybe never heard of Stream Brazil and are going to try it. It inspires you because by sharing, you actually solidify that experience and make it more real to you in your brain. So really important, just be sharing. River Sky is asking, for karma removal, should we chant Stream Brazil or Tirani Lakantam? You can chant either one. I'm recommending Stream Brazil on this program, on this call, because we're in the Stream Brazil YouTube channel, and I don't want to complicate with more mantras. But for those of you who do know Tirani Lakantam, you can chant that one as well. The question is, my practice is 108 times Stream Brazil and listening 3 or 4 hours per day when I think about what I want. Have question. I'm not sure what your question is. You're going to have to reword that. Thanks. But it's really good that you're chanting 108 times. And if you can do more than that, just chant throughout the day. If you don't even need to count, listening several hours is fantastic. And then when you how to create what you want, I did a video on Instagram and Facebook on Wednesday about the 4-step process for manifesting, and we go into the creative process. Also, they did a workshop, about one whole workshop on the creative process, which is essentially like dream up what you want to have and infuse the mantra into that. Okay, so with so many programs to choose from, how do we go about choosing the correct one? It really depends on what you are up to right now. What is your main focus right now? We have, if you go to Pillai Center Academy, you'll see there's courses on Muruga or Ganesha or the Holy Spirit or a variety of topics. Midbrain Miracle Method is one of my favorites. City Powers is one of my favorites. Goddess Wisdom is one of my favorites. These are amazing, amazing courses from Dr. Pillai. How you decide is what's calling to you right now. What do you want to focus on right now? And the only live course is the Wealth Activation Program, because that's open for enrollment at the moment. And why live is, I think it's the best, is because you get the community support. You get live teaching calls every week. If you're in the Premier program, you get live chanting every day. You're connecting with your community. You're coming together in group. The synergy of a group really expands and magnifies the power of being together. You get to have your questions answered in a Facebook group. We're on the calls on Sundays. It's just a supportive container for doing the program. If you're doing the other programs, you're doing them on your own. They're self-guided, and you can certainly email us for questions, but it's not the same experience. And we do live programs a few times a year, and this is why we do them, so that everyone has an opportunity to get together and be in the course together. Gabriella said, "I'm so grateful for all these programs, and my life has changed so beautifully having Remedies done for me." Awesome. Alpha Omega is saying, "I'm trying my best to only use a few mantras." Okay, yeah. So do what aligns for you, right? If I don't like to chant a million mantras, like and different mantras, I like to stay a little more focused. I have a few of my go-tos. They change sometimes depending on how I'm feeling or what I want to focus on next, or in a program with Dr. Pillai. But there's only a few that I do. But some people love chanting a variety of mantras. It's up to you, like what lights you up. And don't do something because you feel like you should. Do it because you want to. And if that desire is not there yet, keep showing up to things like this. Continue to be inspired. Join the Facebook groups. Get connected with people. But there's so many things he said, there's so many things I want to manifest. Yeah. Then do the work, right? Do the work is do the practice. Okay, to manifest miracles, do you chant Shri Brzee or Arakara? Either one. Those are two of my favorite mantras. They're both really powerful. You can do either one or both, not together like Shri Arakara, Shri Brzee, Arakara, but Shri Brzee, Shri Brzee, Shri Brzee, one set, Arakara, 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 another set. So you can do both or either. Question: I can use the meditation from Pillai Center and made, but I need focus on some things. Yes, you do need focus on some things. So that's a good question. You can do the teachings that we give, but you also need to focus, right? That's do the work that I meant. That's do the practice. That's make sure you're getting it done. And I talked about this in the Sustain workshop. I did 3 workshops of wealth activation. The last one was sustaining. And how do we sustain the energy to continue our practice? This is important because we have to, in order to get results, practice is what is going to continue that energy. Otherwise, you're doing it once, you're walking away, it's not happening. So yes, you have to create focus. I gave some tips like putting things around your house so that you remember, playing the mantra so that it reminds you. Dr. Pillai has said the only time Shri Brzee doesn't work is when we don't remember it. We have to set up ways for us to remember. So you're setting up your environment. Things that I like to wear the mala. I like to have my do my pujas or my offerings to the yantra and the statue, so I remember, so I'm engaged. This helps you to stay focused. What is the time of day for chanting? Every minute of the day is available for chanting. If you want to access a more potent time, you can do Venus horas or Venus hours if you know what that is. I'm not going to get into that right now. Power times such as, full moons, stars. We have a whole video on that. We can do that again at some time too. But Fridays, Venus horas or Venus hours within the day. And then Brahma Muhurta, which is the 3 hours before sunrise in your area. That's also a very powerful time. Okay, so Banu's asking, how does the live program differ from Essential Year-Long Wealth Protector and Multiplier program? That's a remedy package. So the Year-Long Wealth Protector and Multiplier program, great program, lots of rituals around wealth. I highly recommend doing your own remedies and then purchasing remedies or having them done for you. But that's different from the educational courses, what we call like an online course or online program. That's the live engagement that I just talked about, and that's the Wealth Activation Formula program, not just remedies. We've packed some remedies into this course, but they're different from what you purchase, so you don't have to worry. There's no overlap there. But what you get here is the teachings. We roll out a new teaching every week. We give you 4 modules of content, of information that you'll go through over the course of 3 months. So it's education versus remedies. Elizabeth said, love being in community with the new course, Wealth Actualization. Can't say enough good things, and we have just begun a global community. Yes, join us. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah, it's been fantastic. We were on a call last night, and 2 people, one guy manifested $50,000 in newfound money that he didn't know he had within a week of joining this program. Another woman who's an artist manifested a $5,000 commission from art. She had no idea she didn't think it would sell just yet, especially with COVID and everything going on. So, and it's been a week. So a lot of amazing things are happening. To me, it's just like the energy is getting jacked up, and we're just getting rolling. So Renata said something beautiful. I have to say, she said, what has helped me sustaining that vibration is remembering that Dr. Pillai said one in his video, Stream Brzee is your watchdog. Yeah, he says, let Stream Brzee be your watchdog, preventing you from thinking negative thoughts. No, there isn't any Tantra or sexual mastery courses at Pillai Center. We we just don't get into that topic. But you should know that Tantra is you probably know, is an ancient path, and a lot of the remedies come from a tantric path. A lot of the mantras come from a tantric path. If you look at a lot of the Vedic symbolism, Hinduism, there's usually a union of the male and female. And that energy is what is the creative process. So even though Dr. Pillai and Pillai Center isn't specifically we're not teaching about sex, but Tantra is actually a part of a lot of the teachings because of its roots of where it comes from and how the creative process, bringing the Kundalini up from the base of the spine to the third eye for manifesting is activating an energy. Dr. Pillai talks about the Ah meditation. That's the sexual energy moving up. Instead of using it for sex, you're using it for manifestation. So there's elements there to the teachings because we are using the creative force. There's River Sky's asking, can I light the ghee lamp or mustard oil lamp, or should I wear red clothes while chanting the mantra? Don't worry about any of those. You can light a lamp or a candle. You can wear whatever you want. You can wear nothing. There's no rules around it. The only rule is don't ever use a mantra for something that would be harmful to yourself or others. But yeah, we can get into the ritual of it, and we do in courses and in other videos. But for now, just just do it. Just chant. Just engage. Just create a practice. Just create a habit. Don't make it complicated for yourself. If you want to create those rituals or those habits, great. You can wear red. It's a color for the goddess. You can light a ghee lamp. That's a very powerful thing to do, but it's not required. Yeah, so River Sky, yes, you can do all of those things, and you don't have to. Focus sometimes includes another thing, and also not the focus I imagine in becoming and feeling. So I think what you're saying is sometimes you lose your focus if you're trying to focus on one thing, and that is practice, bringing your mind back to the thought, the idea, the what you want to manifest. It's just retraining the mind to refocus. Lydia is asking, I like to do the course, but my ask is that I have the class because I live in Spain and the classes are very late for me or early. So yeah, the classes, we have two different times. The evening time, well, US evening, is for the daily chanting, and that's 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know what that is in Spain. And then at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Sundays are the live calls. If you can't come to the live calls, then you can listen to them at your convenience and then ask questions in the group. All right, folks, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. We've been together for about 46 minutes now. So thank you for joining. I'm here every Friday at the same time, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Join me for next week. I forget what we're talking about. I think we're going to dive deeper into the ancestors next week. And then on Wednesday, I will be on Instagram Live, Free Brazil official Instagram Live, same time, 11 a.m. We'll be talking a little bit more about the manifestation process, healing your ancestors. We're going to go through all these topics that you really have been asking about. We'll get into more of like when to chant and things like that. So keep your questions coming, post them in the Facebook groups. We'll make sure all these links are in the video below. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for contributing your energy and being amazing. Now go continue your Sri Brazil practice, share with others, and let's make this place a better world. Namaste.